wanted to leave the supplies open for this one. So I have a couple of examples. Obviously, of course, you're going to need paper. So that's the first thing. Um, but if you want to use markers for this project, you certainly can. And I use markers for this one. However, if you want to get a little creative or a little sassy with it, you can use oil pastels if you want to as well. Um, I also have, oh yeah, this one here. This one's just with markers, but it's on textured paper. So it looks a little bit different, but it's really just markers. And I also have an example down here somewhere, and I'm sorry I didn't look for it before. I actually just remembered it. It's with acrylic paint. So you're more than welcome to use acrylic paint if that's what you've got. If that's what you want to use. I swear I have it. I know I do. Here it is. Okay. This is a big one. This one's 12 inches by 18 inches, I believe, but definitely work what you are comfortable with, okay?
But
Kind of a big one.
what did you make that with?
Acrylic paints. So that's it, acrylic paints. If you want to use that, please feel free to do that. So I just wanted to show you how they can look depending on what you choose to use. And you'll need a pencil. So that's the only other thing that you'll probably need, just the pencil. If you want to use a square paper, I feel like a square paper would better accommodate a spiral. However, if you don't have a square paper, you can cut one now, and if you want, I can actually give you guys some uh, a tutorial on how to cut paper if you want to, because I know it's a little bit difficult sometimes. You can also you can also do this now and cut the paper later if you wanted to. So I could, take my measurements and cut my paper on this one right now. Before I explain the colors, maybe it would help if I explain what the project actually is first. I call this one a thankfulness spiral, or perhaps like a gratefulness spiral. And I do that because it's all about reflection. Each and every color is symbolic. It and actually, I'm sorry, I forgot to mention, but we will need a scrap piece of paper for writing things down. So that pencil and the scrap piece of paper go hand in hand. So be sure to have that. And like I said, the colors are symbolic. So it really just depends on what colors you gravitate towards, or perhaps what colors best represent the things that you're about to write. So this little disclaimer, this comes with a little writing prompt in the beginning. Not a writing prompt, more like a list prompt. So like I mentioned, it's all about reflection. And what I want you guys to do is think about perhaps 10 things, perhaps a little bit less than that. It doesn't have to be exactly 10. But things that you are grateful for this entire year. Think about what's happened. Think about the memories. Think about people that have been prominent in your life, and write those down. So I guess we can begin this step now. As always, where is my pencil? So we'll want to number it 1 through 10, but you don't need all 10. If you can't think of exactly 10 things, then that's totally fine. And the very first thing is going to be the thing that you are absolutely most thankful for. So think about that. I mean, anything else doesn't exactly have to be ordered exactly like that, but it can be. So I'll just, come clean here and say that my family support is going to be the most important, because I don't know what I would have done without them. Let's see, for me, probably my boyfriend's support, honestly. He really reminds me to take a step back because I'm the kind of person that will just, I don't know, MS symptoms be damned. If I want to do something, I'm going to do it. But he's the one that reminds me that, okay, you need to take a rest, you need to take a nap, stuff like that, like a caregiver. Let's see, I'm going to write pets right here. Let's see. I'm thankful for a good running AC system. I don't know how I would survive without it. My mom, she's gonna be next. Financial stability, despite those rockier moments, especially at the end of the year. Let's see, my MS symptoms are stable. So I'm gonna write that. And like I said, if you can't reach all the way to 10, that's okay. What else am I thankful for? Flexible work life. And I'm sure I'll think of something later, but I'll stick with those for now. For those of you who are ahead of me, you can go ahead and start to bring out your colors. Now, going back to our colors again, you can be organized with your colors if you want to. So when I say that, I mean you can line up a bunch of colors that appeal to you, that you think look good for you. Um, I'm sorry, good together, and assign those colors to each of these numbers. So let's see, I'm pulling out colors that I'm attracted to because that's just who I am. You know, I like to pull out colors that I love and colors that I think go well together. These colors are all cool colors. So they're the blues, they're purples, they're greens. So if you want to stick to a theme like that, you can certainly do that. Um, Warm colors, those are colors such as pink, red, um, orange, yellow, things that are really vibrant and bright. Perhaps they remind you of summer. Cool colors, they're more watery. Perhaps they remind you of water. Maybe they remind you of winter or plants. Things like that. So let's see, I have 8 things on my list, so I'm going to choose 8 colors. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I mentioned earlier that if you wanted to go with a color scheme that's more symbolic, you can do that as well. So here's what I mean. When I think of my mom, she's number 5 here. Her favorite color is purple. So if I wanted to, I could assign the color purple to her. And in fact, I am going to do that. You're more than welcome to go here and just kind of color code it right now if you want to. That's the organized way of doing things. You can definitely do that. Say, for example, MS symptoms. Number 7, I have MS symptoms stability, meaning my symptoms have been pretty good this year, pretty stable. So I'm thankful for that. So I'm going to assign orange to that. Financial stability, perhaps green. I'm just kind of thinking out loud here. Let's see, boyfriend support. Maybe he can be blue. My pets, maybe they can be turquoise. I don't know. Y'all have any other questions so far? All right. Very cool. I don't really know what else I'm gonna do. Maybe AC system can be this pink color. I have one more left over. Okay, so this is more the symbolic way of choosing colors. Okay, so I don't have a square cut out right now. Um, so I'm going to create my spiral on this rectangular piece of paper, but whatever size you have, that's perfect, perfectly fine. Now, with your pencil, whenever you're ready, I want you guys to locate the center of your piece as best as you can. I always like to point at things. That's my very first thing that I do when I'm drawing anything. I point to where I'm going to start. And then I'm just going to start to draw a rough outline of a spiral. Now, it doesn't have to be a tight coil, like the lines don't have to be tight together. This is really just going to serve as a guide for you. And it doesn't even have to be um, it doesn't have to be perfect. I mean, you can see my lines are pretty wobbly. It can get kind of intimidating when you're getting close to the edge there. As you can see, well, maybe you can see, my line kind of flattened out just a little bit closer to the top there. It happens. So again, it's only going to be a guide for you. These lines are going to disappear. There we have it. I did the same thing with this one, and my lines completely disappeared for this picture as well. So we're not going to see them. And for those of you guys who are new to this class, I guess I'll just introduce myself really quickly. My name is Hannah, and I've had MS for 5 years now. I was diagnosed in 2017. And a lot of my symptoms are invisible. Like I have so many symptoms that are just like below the surface. And art has really helped me to deal with the diagnosis and to deal with the symptoms on a day-to-day basis, especially the mental health aspect of it too. I do suffer from depression and anxiety quite a bit. So it helps me quite a lot. And so that's why I decided to bring this class to anybody who wants to join. So not the most eloquent introduction, but I tried. All right, guys. So the very first one on your list, so for me, that was the most important one, familial support. Um, the ones that you have at the top, they just that color tends to show up more, simply because it's the first one. You're trying to get your footing down. You're trying to fill up space, and you have a lot of space to fill up. So that one just tends to take up more room. And that's why I had you guys write the most important one first. So we'll go ahead and start with this one. So like I said, we're going to be using this grid, I'm sorry, not this grid, this spiral as a guide. You can start in the middle if you want to. You can start to break up your lines a bit. You can start to spread it out. I would definitely start to turn your picture around instead of straining to try and get just the right line with just the right angle. Instead, move your picture around. If you happen to be using something like oil pastels, it's the same exact thing, same thing with colored pencils or crayons. I would just be careful of just eventually some of the the media rubbing off on your palm, because that can happen. Then it might smudge a little bit. So you can have lines that stretch and stretch and stretch. You can pick up your lines and fix them. But the most important thing that I really want you guys to focus on is focus on the word, focus on the memories, focus on anything that pops to mind when you see your very first word. If that means that you have to tune me out and put some music on in the background, put yourself on mute. I would just ask that. But put some music on to make you focus and really think about the things on your list, then I do recommend you doing that. This project is all about reflection. And I actually created this project because I was thinking about the idea of a New Year's resolution. New Year's resolutions, they always pop up. This idea always pops up. And every time I think that I want to create and follow a New Year's resolution, I always get upset at myself for not being able to follow through. It really just doesn't last for me. And so I didn't want to focus on the things that I'm not, but instead I wanted to focus on the things that I am or have. So that's how this project came about. It's a focus on what's already there and a focus on the good things that have happened throughout the whole year. Hope that makes sense. So just keep going color by color. Tune me out if you need to. Anytime you're ready to go to the next color, you can certainly do that. I'll let you guys know when I'm going on to the next color. Any questions? Is my screen frozen for everybody? How weird. Looks like I disappeared. Huh.
So you're intentionally not putting it on all the lines.
Correct, yes. I'm partially doing that, and that's a really good point you bring up. I'm partially not doing that because this lavender color specifically, it is not a dark color. So whenever I go over my pencil lines, that lavender is cemented forever. I'm sorry, not the lavender, the pencil line is cemented forever. So I do want to be able to go over it with a darker color. Although I can see here that so many lines of lavender is making it disappear anyway. So that may not be an issue after all. Now I'm ready to move to the next one. So for me, that's going to be blue. And again, I'm going to think about all of those memories that pop to mind with this word. And I want you guys to keep in mind that you can absolutely add more of a certain color if that's what you want. Keep thinking about that word. I know I mentioned music before. I'm not going to sing for you. I don't think I'm allowed to play music on here. Just so you guys know, the screen with my face on it, um, so my other screen, um, it's not responding. My app is not responding. So if this app on my computer quits, it'll probably kick you all out. So if that happens, I'm gonna jump right in and let you all back in again. So just letting you guys know. I don't know if you guys knew this, but I always jump on here using two screens. So screen where you see my face, and then the screen where you see my project. So it's my face screen that's not working. Just so you know. At a certain point, you're going to want to um, sort of, especially if you have thinner lines, you're going to want to thicken up some lines just to make more space. So do that little by little in order to keep things somewhat looking symmetrical. I am always looking all across the page to see which areas are a little bit more square. Perhaps they need to be rounded out or fixed somehow. So this part, for example, I can tell it's a little bit squared out, just slightly. So I can take this marker and stretch it out, round it out just on this top side as best as I can. These lines, they are not going to be perfect at all. I've been doing art for a long time and I have very messy handwriting and my very shaky hands. So do not worry about what you can do compared to me. I feel like personally, I want more of this lavender color. So I'll probably put some up here. At any point in time, you can start to add extra sections that are a little bit more inside your spirals. You don't have to stick to one section and just keep going. You can start to just add more sections and follow along the same path, kind of like what I just did now. Here's a question for you guys. What is a genre of music or an album or an artist that you guys go to relax? To relax or focus maybe?
I like classical music. I use classical music usually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, to relax.
Yeah. A
Love
good one.
Jazz.
What was that, Tony?
Jazz.
Oh, jazz. All right. Super cool. Who else?
I
I
like music
listened.
that, oh, go ahead.
Oh no, you're good. Go ahead.
I like music that I can like dance to a little bit and that I can sing along with. It is always very
Yeah.
relaxing for me. Um,
Yeah.
and when I had like my most difficult work year ever, I had two particular musicians or groups or whatever that I listened to on repeat because their songs are all so positive, and it's hard
Yeah.
not to it's hard not to be in a good mood when you listen to their music. So one is Andy
So
Grammer. He's always super positive. And
Andy
then
Graham.
the other one is George Ezra. I really like his music too.
I'm writing them down. Okay. Grammy who?
George Ezra and Andy Grammer.
Andy Graham. I knew I was close.
Yeah, they both have a couple
And
hits that have been played on like mainstream radio.
all right. George Ezra. So they more upbeat.
Yes.
Nice. Nice. The music you can dance to. I love that. I normally stick to like, okay, when I love a certain band or a certain genre, I will stick to that genre until my ears explode. Like, and so far there's a certain like South Korean band that has not done that for me yet. Like I can listen to them again and again and again, and and it just relaxes me. There's something about their music that I just can't stop listening. And in fact, I think maybe 3 or 4 of their songs were on my top 5 playlists on Spotify. So I thought that was interesting throughout the entire year. So I don't know what I would do without that band. Now here you guys can see I was trying to follow my spiral in a nice way. It's a little bit more rugged than I would like to admit. So I'm just gonna go in and fix it little by little. Being very patient with myself and with my lines. Because you gotta forgive yourself for these little things. All you do is go back and fix it up. What else was I gonna say? I like to listen to lo-fi, like lo-fi hip hop. There is a artist called City Girl, and I love that music because it's so relaxing. Like anytime I need to focus, I'll put them on. Right now I'm thinking about my pets. This is my pet's color. Mainly my cat. I lost a very special pet to me this year. So I feel like this color suits him. He was a puffer fish that I've had for I think 14 years.
Oh, you painted him, right?
Yes, yes I did. I lost him in October after that long. I'm honestly amazed because I was diagnosed only 5 years ago, so he was with me through all that diagnosis and that craziness. Yeah, I showed you guys a painting, but what did I show you?
Did you do it on the Yupo paper?
Yes, that's right, because you had asked about that. I remember now. Where is he? Where is he? There he is. Ta-da! Puppy.
Very cool.
That one's transparent Yupo paper. So fun. Love Yupo paper. Have you been able to experiment with anything?
Not yet, but I got these little, they're actually, let me grab it.
Yeah.
It's,
When you add the colors, are you adding them inside on the outside? I'm trying to figure out from what I'm looking at, but that's not going to help
Oh
me.
yes. Okay. So when I first started, I started going along the outside of the spiral. Well, no, I take the back. I'm sorry. I started on the inside of the spiral. The purple was my very first one, so I started on the inside. But as you go along, that really doesn't matter so much because your lines are going to be lost. So, um, and honestly, it really only matters in the beginning when you're right there in the middle. Um, you're going to be thickening up some areas as you move along. And I say that because as you start to make these longer strokes with the color, your hand is really not going to be as elegant as you would like it to be. Like even my hand, like there's no way I can stretch and make it as nice as I have in my head. So that's actually why I'm thickening up some areas, but I'm also doing that to make it more interesting too. So it'll morph. That all that to say, it's going to morph as you move along. So which side of the side of the line that you move on won't really matter so much later.
Okay.
Yeah, I hope that helped. I was just talking earlier uh about my New Year's Eve party that my mom had at her house, and I attempted to sing karaoke. That's really the closest I'm ever gonna get to singing. It's karaoke, and I tried my best to sing a song, really high pitched. I love this song, okay, and I love attempting to sing in a high pitch fashion. I don't know my musical terminology, um, but it was a lot of fun giving the neighbors a little performance that they probably didn't want at midnight. I should mention actually, Karen, it was I had friends coming over. So my friends they spent the night at my apartment and then we went over to my mom's to party. But actually it was Alexa from Ancan. She came to
Uh-huh.
visit with her
Oh,
fiance. So it was really, really nice getting to know them in person as opposed to
was that the first time
through a
you got to see
screen.
her?
Yeah, first time. Yes. So it
Wow.
totally reminded me of when you and I got together because seeing somebody in person obviously is completely different feeling.
It is.
Yeah, so that was a lot of fun.
Well, I've kept in touch with this woman, but she's young. I met her, she's 29, she's feisty,
Mhm.
she's like stuff. She just gets in touch with me now and then. And
Yeah.
I didn't even know because she has a partner now, a wife. And she said, "You told me." I said, "Who's LMG?" So she mentions her name, and then she's like, "You told me, stay with her." I'm like, "Oh, I did."
Oh,
I don't,
that's so sweet.
I don't remember. Yeah. So that was cute. I mean, she was a little
Oh,
jealous. It was funny because the partner said, "Well, what are you doing with my wife saying, let's get a room?"
that's funny.
But
That's
it
so
was like
cute.
really cool that, because I told her about the
Yeah.
art and she was just blown away. I'm like, San Antonio, and so, oh, while you were singing, they went out. So then she's okay, we're going to go out because there's fireworks because it's earlier,
Yeah.
here. So they went out at midnight when you were singing your song to go look at the fireworks. But I was like, hey, two San Antonio people.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yes, you know two San Antonio people. It's great. Now I just realized the time. Does anybody feel like sharing their work? I mean, we're still gonna work for, a little bit longer. But if anybody needs to leave at the top of the hour, then you're more than welcome to share your work. Tell us a little bit about it or not. You don't have to say anything about it. You can just show us. Anyone?
I could.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna put you on spotlight. Here you are.
Can you see it?
Ooh.
Hey, I love that. What medium did you use?
I use oil pastels and I never really used them before.
Wow.
And then I took a Q-tip and I took some mineral oil and I spread it over it.
Yeah, how did that work for you? Or how'd you
Well,
feel about that, I would say?
I guess okay. I mean, it
Yeah.
just, I think I probably have too many colors going on.
No,
No?
it's
Honestly,
great.
I love the way you put your mark making in there, mixed with the way the mineral oil worked with it. I don't
Well,
know,
thank
and
you.
there's something about the colors that you chose that I think were just right. I think it's beautiful.
Okay.
It's not too many colors. This is in a
Yeah.
good way, I'm going to use a word, but it's in a good way.
Mhm.
It has, a chaotic look to it, but in a good way, like, how'd you do that?
Mhm.
Right?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, it
Yeah.
was a chaotic year for me, so maybe that's why.
It's symbolic in that way too.
Yeah. Well, thank
I
you. It
just
was fun.
Yeah, very cool. Thank you. Yeah, that is lovely. Is there anyone else who wants to go next? I
show
probably have.
mine. It's kind of muted.
Yeah. Where are you, Tony? There you are. Okay. There we go.
Oh,
Hey, what
cool.
did you use? Did you use paints?
Yeah, acrylic paint, and then I just used a big white, kind of smear it all over, kind of like to as my faith in God is represented by the white, and I just went over all of the things I'm grateful for with the white.
Oh, yeah, that's like I love that symbolism because it's kind of like your faith. It covers every aspect of your life.
Right, right.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Thank you.
And your color choice is beautiful too.
Thanks.
Cool, thank you. Who else? Who else would like to share? Like I said, you don't have to. We can still keep working. In fact, I think I'm only on number 5.
This is like that pattern program. I think we did pattern painting we did where it's the kind of thing you can just sit and do it, you know, over and over, and it's always going to look a little different. I
Yeah,
like
that's
that you have
true.
that you have the theme.
Oh, the
Yeah.
mandala.
Oh, yeah. I guess it's circular, kind of like the mandala.
But there's something, I think we did the footprints, something like that. We did a circle, and it wasn't exactly a
Oh,
circle, but it
yeah.
was like footprints. And it just kind of reminds you of the mandala is a little more specific.
Hmm.
You know, it's not really abstract, so it has a different feel to it. And this is like, oh, okay, I could just.
Yeah, I think I see what you're saying. Those footprints that we did, that was a while ago, I think. I guess that one is kind of symbolic too, in that you can let your mind just wander and not really have to, like, once you have the technique down, you don't really have to think about it too much. At least that's what I think about. That's honestly that footprint project, maybe I'll bring it back because it's one of my go-to projects, um, if I need to sort of recenter myself and reframe my way of thinking. I should probably preface that by saying that I have ADD, so it's really difficult for me to concentrate on anything. So that particular project and projects like this that I don't really have to think about too much, they help me to reorganize my mind and get on a better track, a better way of thinking.
How do you know you have ADD and it's not MS?
Um, well, I don't know. I'd spoken with a psychiatrist, and she says that she thinks I have ADD, so it's not like set in stone. Um, so I'm just going off of what she said,
I
and
don't think
she's
so. I'm not really. I don't see it.
I don't know. I'm very good at masking too, so
Yeah, but
think about that.
you know, I had a
Um,
foster daughter, a foster adoptive daughter,
mhm,
and when she, you know, I hadn't met her yet, but I read the report, and they
mhm,
said she had ADD. She had a lot of problems. She doesn't have ADD. You know, like I don't know. They like to
mm,
just throw these diagnoses out. That's all. So
Well,
you know, I really paid attention. Like, what do you mean?
mhm.
She can sit in the ballet and watch the ballet. Who could do that at 6 years old? You know, like
Oh, that's
she can sit for a
impressive.
long time and draw and do that. You know, the fact that you can
Yeah,
do this,
that's
maybe they
that's
just,
impressive too.
but you
the
know, maybe
interest,
the doctor just doesn't. I don't see it. I mean, you're not AD. Look what you're doing.
The interesting thing about ADHD, because we have a lot of it in our family, is that it looks
Mhm.
different in girls than in boys. In girls, it's more like the daydreaming, or super chatty, or like trouble like staying focused. Like it's real interesting how it
Mhm.
presents differently in boys versus girls.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that difference.
Well, and then there's another thing about so-called ADD or ADHD.
Mhm.
It's just like people throw it out a lot, but if somebody tells you you're that, then you kind of believe it. But
Mhm.
I used to, before I could move around, do different things, start different things. I'm in the kitchen, I start to clean, I start to cook something, then I go here, then I go there. Is that
Mhm.
ADHD? And then I read that, creative people do that.
Hmm. That's a
That's
good
just
point.
something else. You're an artist, you're creative,
Mhm.
you're picking up so many other what do you call it, stimuli.
Mhm. Maybe it's I don't know, selective interest, because really I can only sit down and focus on something if I'm truly interested in it. But I guess that's probably normal, to be honest.
That's called hyperfocus.
There you go.
Hey,
Hyperactive.
Hannah, I'm probably gonna get ready to go. I'm getting really tired now, but
Yeah,
I'm gonna just show you my thing before I bed.
of
So
course. I'd love to see it. Here you
got it
are.
kind of
Oh,
crazy
like,
colors.
I
ooh,
love it. That
Oh,
spiral is gorgeous.
thank you. Yeah,
Uh-huh. What
it kind
medium
of
did you
smudged
use?
because I used oil pastels, and then
Ah,
when I blended it, it kind of washed out my middle a little bit. You can't really see the spirals too well at the middle. It like washed it out when I blended it.
oh, I
So,
see. Did you use a
yeah.
blender tool or did you use something else?
Yeah, those ones that we got in that ANCAM class, like the
Oh, yeah.
blender things. Yeah. So I'm learning how to use those. So I don't know if I
Yeah.
use them correctly, but yeah.
Still though, I'm loving the textures though.
Oh,
Like,
thank you.
especially on the outer edges, I feel like I can see more of your hand strokes on the outside there. And for me, I love seeing that characteristic. It's very you, and I like it.
Oh, thank you. I like
Very
this.
cool.
It's fun.
Yay. Yeah, I like to bring it out every year at this time. So
Good way to end a stressful day that I had. So I'm kind of more relaxed.
yeah,
So, yeah. Well,
go
thank you
relax
guys.
some more, Susie.
It was fun. We'll see you guys next week, hopefully. So,
There's no class next
oh, no
week,
class.
unfortunately.
Oh,
Mhm.
okay. Well, week
it's a
after.
holiday.
Week after. Yeah, it's the
Okay.
holiday, so.
Oh, another holiday. Okay.
Mhm.
All
So
right.
I'm
I'll
like,
see
yeah, I know what
you.
day it is.
Have a good night.
All right.
See you
Bye.
Good
later.
night.
Bye-bye.
Yeah,
Bye.
bye.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
sign
Bye.
off now too. Good night, everyone.
Okay. Good
Bye.
Thanks a lot,
night.
Hannah.
You're welcome. Sorry y'all can't see me anymore. Y'all have a good night. Barbara, did you want to show your work?
Yeah, I think I'm done.
Yeah, let me put you on spotlight real
This
quick.
was so fun, and just like watching the spots kind of come out. It was just fun.
Yeah,
So
that's awesome. Did you use acrylic paints?
no, I used watercolors actually.
Wow, I
Um,
like that.
yeah, I'm not sure why my camera's not real clear, but I think
So,
I don't have my light on.
so why did the
Oh,
spots
gotcha.
come out?
Just watching like the colors kind of develop, just watching
Wow.
the pattern emerge is what I was trying to say.
Yeah, well, I love that I can see the layering from here because of course, that's what watercolor does. You can see the layering with that. So I'm loving the texture. I really do.
Yeah, me too. I have to figure out where my light went. I think that's probably why I'm so grainy.
Well, you did a
Okay,
great job with it, Barbara.
thank you. This was a lot of fun tonight.
Yay! Well, hopefully we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Yes.
You take care, okay?
Bye.
I'll show you mine next.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, I am trying to use my left hand here for some reason. Why am I doing that? Okay, there we go. Hey, very similar color palette. I like it.
Yeah, this was really good.
Good. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm loving the way some of your colors are overlapping each other, and just the way you put them all in. It's really nice.
Well, thank you. This was very
Yeah.
meditative, so I enjoyed it.
Good. Good. Thank you, Marion. So here's what lots of people don't see. Like I I have such a hard time focusing on anything other than art. Like, and even then I do struggle with it sometimes. But if it's not engaging enough, I guess, like the way art is, I just cannot finish anything. Um, and that includes like my job too, like what is it? Doing social media, because I do social media for ANCAN, and so like when it starts to dip into my job and things like that, it's a huge problem for me, you know. So I don't know. It's just it's hard to organize anything in my head. It's hard to what's the word? I guess prioritize. Like it's really hard to prioritize and do the things that are most important the way it's it's rational, right? To want to understand how to do things the in order of importance, but I don't know. It's a huge problem for me.
Hannah, I love
Yeah.
the orange in your piece. It looks really nice.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm still trying to figure out how I feel about the orange next to the green right there. So, yeah, thank you for saying that. There's a way to work around some of these inconsistencies that you don't even realize you're making when you're actually doing these artworks. And I feel like for me, my inconsistency is that I can't follow along with the line. Not only can I, I don't feel like I'm capable, but I don't want to either because I don't want it to be exactly even with that line that I created in the beginning. I want some areas to be thicker, I want some to be a little bit thinner. And so I'm going to have to compromise and sort of uh te- I don't know, teeter totter is maybe not the right word for it, but uh
Okay, and then it makes sense because I'm looking at it. and it makes me a little dizzy looking at yours because
Mhm.
it's not perfect, but in a good way dizzy. You know, it's like, whoa,
Yeah.
what am I looking at? That's wild, like that crazy
That's
lollipop, right? I mean,
that's
yeah, it
my
looks like,
life though.
right? Yeah, I
That's
like
my
it.
life right there.
I like it.
Like I
So,
seriously feel like this on a day-to-day basis, so it fits me.
well, I sent you a lot of stuff because I was so excited about my painting, and then I didn't realize that Rick sent it and Alexa, but that that I fixed what I didn't like last time, because I know it's funny.
Yeah.
It's like somebody said, right, this is a lot of fun. It's like, yeah, because you don't have to look at what you did wrong. But I got that metaphor. I sat and I worked on it, and I was like, no, I have to. And I think that Winter Wonderland's the best thing I've done. And I sent it to like
Oh.
50 people. They were blown away. And so, but when I worked on it, when I was working on it, I just went, I refuse to not love my painting. And so I made it,
Aw,
I made it so I could love it. And I've really been
yeah.
able to translate that. You talk about something creative. I've been able, and it's for you too, Barbara. It's I've been able to translate that in that short amount of time to go, I refuse to not love my life.
Yeah. And honestly, I think that's a really great thing to bring up, because, you know, I'm sure you guys understand this. MS will make you really hate the trajectory of your life, and that's kind of where I was in the beginning of my own diagnosis. I don't know, I would sit in my studio room all by myself and just, pity myself. And I feel so sorry and I feel so regretful, of not really taking advantage of my youth, I guess, because my
Well,
20s
yeah,
just kind of flew by, and not really enjoying life the way I should have. So I just feel like art was a way for me to take back more control in my life and really, yes, it's art, but it's also an expression of what's actually going on within your psyche and but also what's going on with your outer self as well, because I couldn't really psychologically figure out how to create artwork again. Things just weren't organized in my head the way they used to be. I couldn't really figure out how to go about starting a project. Um, it just wasn't really possible for me. And so that psychological connect between, or I'm sorry, that psychological disconnect between my mind and my body was really weighing on me. And so art really helped to put that back and really helped me to retrain myself, if that makes sense.
right. But I never did art. Talk about your memory. I
Mhm.
realized, okay, the markers are not working. They're too, I don't know, they're just not coming out nice, but I refuse to not love my painting, so I have to do something
Yeah,
else. So then I used the paintbrush. And then I
yeah,
started using the crayon because I thought I used the crayon. I go, this isn't right. What's wrong? And it's like, because I'm using a paintbrush, not the crayon. Oh my God. At least I have that
yeah.
undo thing. That attention. I don't have ADHD, but this attention,
Mhm.
this lack of being able to do that. But how powerful you need to put this on any grants. That, here's somebody who never did art. And
Mhm.
instead of comparing myself to you, which that's ridiculous, I mean, it's just like, how am I going to compare myself to you or anybody else? But to come away and say, I refuse to not love my life.
Yeah, yeah. That's such a beautiful way to put it too. You refuse to not love your life,
But it came
and
from, I refuse to not love my painting.
but
Like,
also I loved hearing that you're thinking specifically about what mediums work for you, because painting might not work for one person, but it'll work for another person. And being able to not force yourself to do anything that upsets you, I think that that's, I guess maybe upset's not really the right word, but um, really thinking about the types of mediums that work for you and work with you.